There's a new Thundercats show this year on Cartoon Network, so we should all take a moment to remember the original show from the 80s. When I first heard about it as a kid, I thought, what? Thundercats? Are they cats that shoot lightning out their asses or something? Well, here's the basic gist. There was this planet somewhere called Thundera. The people on this planet were called Thunderians, and their leaders were a group of warriors called the Thundercats that lived in Cat's Lair. In the first episode, Exodus, the planet is about to blow up. Jaga gets his best men into a ship to escape the doomed planet, and it is their mission to protect Lion-O, who is to become their leader. So they get onto the getaway ship just in the nick of time, and then the planet explodes. Lion-O witnesses the whole event, and this traumatic experience continues to haunt him throughout the entire series. So now this ship is traveling through space, and they're trying to get to a planet where they could live. The journey would be really long, so Jaga puts them all into time suspension capsules, kind of like an alien. You know what's funny about this first episode? They all walk around the ship naked. When I was a kid, I thought I was going to get in trouble if I got caught watching this, like it was porn or something. And notice they don't have dicks or nipples. Well, Lion-O has a sword that grows longer to make up for it. And speaking of the sword, I guess I better talk about it since it's what the whole show is about. The leader of the Thundercats is the one who gets to use the Sword of Omens. It's a magical sword that can do all sorts of amazing shit. It can shoot lasers, it can fly, it can look into the future.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight.
It can pretty much do anything. But it's really not the sword that does this. Embedded in the handle is the Eye of Thundera, and that's the thing that gives the Thundercats all their power. See, the sword is actually worthless, really. If you took the Eye of Thundera out of it and put it into another weapon, like a hammer or a gun or something, it would make that magical as well. The Eye of Thundera will growl when danger is near, kind of like Spider-Man's spidey senses.
Lion-O, Thundercats in danger.
I heard it, Panthro.
And when Lion-O needs to call the Thundercats for help, he says,
Thunder! 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 Thundercats!
and a spotlight shoots out displaying the cat symbol, which reminds me of the bat signal. So the ship eventually makes it to a planet called Third Earth. Upon arrival, though, you find out something went wrong with Lion-O's time capsule, and he got older, while the other Thundercats stayed the same age. Following behind them were a group of bad guys called the Mutants. They were from the planet Plundar, and it's their goal in life to kill the Thundercats.
We'll never have a better chance to be rid of them forever!
When they get to Third Earth, they pass over an ancient pyramid where they encounter the series' main villain, Mum-Ra. Mum-Ra at first just appears to be an old mummy, like something out of a Universal horror film. But Mum-Ra is more than your ordinary mummy. He's commanded by the ancient spirits of evil, which are those 4 big statues that are in his pyramid. The statues give Mum-Ra huge amounts of energy that transform him into a super mummy called Mum-Ra the Ever-Living. Mum-Ra finds out about the Eye of Thundera and wants it for himself.
The Eye of Thundera.
So most of the show is all about Mum-Ra trying to kill the Thundercats and steal the Eye so he can control the universe. Man, 80s cartoons were crazy, weren't they? There's a 5-part episode called Lion-O's Anointment Trials, where Lion-O has to prove he's worthy of being the leader without using the sword at all. Lion-O must face off against Panthro's strength, Cheetara's speed, Wily Kit and Wily Cat's cunningness, Tigra's mind powers, and finally confront and destroy his greatest enemy, Mum-Ra. Of course Mum-Ra comes back though. That's why he's ever living, I guess. There's so many episodes and so many crazy plots, it'd be impossible to describe everything that happens in one review, but I'll mention a few episodes that always stood out in my memory. Return to Thundera. In this episode, Lion-O goes back to Thundera and meets his father Claudius. What's cool is that Larry Kenney, the voice actor of the original Lion-O, will be the one who voices Lion-O's father in the new series. It's always neat when there's scenes showing what life was like on Thundera, and they get some history behind the characters. The Garden of Delights. In this episode, Mum-Ra drugs Tigra in an attempt to have him steal the Sword of Omens. I love the scenes where Tigra's tripping out.
I'm looking for sparkling slime.
Slime?
From a worm. A big one.
Oh man, look at this. Tigra thinks he can fly. He's a goddamn junkie. Excalibur. This is one of the best episodes of the series. Mumra tries to find a sword that can defeat the Sword of Omens and finds King Arthur's sword Excalibur. Then he disguises himself as a knight and challenges Lion-O to a fight where he's defeated. You literally see all the Thundercats dying, and the Eye of Thundera itself is stabbed. Merlin comes back and fixes the eye, but if you ask me, that's the closest they ever came to dying. Mumra is especially great in this one, being a real arrogant asshole.
Oh, I am sorry, youth. Clumsy of me.
The Last Day. In one of the later episodes, the ancient spirits of evil get fed up with Mumra because he can never defeat the Thundercats. They tell him that he's got one more day to kill them, or they're going to stop giving him power. So Mumra asks them for all their evil power, which will run out in 24 hours. He grows into a giant, attacks Third Earth, destroying the Thundercats' base and taking all them out one by one. It doesn't get much more epic than this one. The Book of Omens. The very last episode, The Book of Omens, is a really interesting one. During the series, you find out there are other treasures of Thundera besides the sword. There's a key, a telescope, and others. The book contains all the secrets of the Thundercats' power. Mumra tries to enter the book and discover the knowledge that lies in it. While this is going on, the planet is destroying itself, and the Thundercats are scrambling trying to fix everything. In the end, the Black Cat in the Eye of Thundera literally comes out of the eye, flies over the whole planet, and sets everything right. There was also a Thundercats movie, but it wasn't in theaters. It was aired on TV only. In this one, we find out that there's a few other Thunderians that survive the explosion of Thundera. They're quickly captured by Mumra, and the basic idea is that the Thundercats need to save them. It was pretty much just an excuse to make some new toys. But there are some great moments in this movie, like Lion-O fighting off the Berserkers and Groon the Destroyer fighting Jaga. But my favorite part was when Lion-O gets trapped in the ice. An avalanche falls on top of him and he's frozen. You think he's finished, but in a last-ditch effort, he calls upon the Sword of Omens.
Sword of Omens, come to my hand!
Oh yeah, here it comes.
Look!
Yeah, nothing can stop the Thundercats. I've only seen brief clips of the new show. My first impression of it is positive. I like that they got the original Lion-O to do his father's voice,
I only ask that you fight like cats.
and I like that Mumra looks just like he did back in the old days. I remember that the mummy form of the toy was a mail order item only. If you cut out the back of the packages and sent away for it, Mumra would come in the mail. Ah, those were the days. Well, it's nice to know that a new generation will know about the show, and that it's not just going to fade into obscurity. Most other big 80s cartoons have had a revival of some form, so it's about time the Thundercats came back. That's right, Thundercats are on the move, Thundercats are loose.